is a gift you can open again and again, and that's exactly what is felt with children's books, which is why we are excited that this week's Ask the Author segment, we are joined by the fabulous Andrea Hyatt from DeWitt. How's it going?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so we are so excited to have you in here because we love having kids on the show, but we also know that kids love reading and putting books in their hands, and that's what you've done with your work and quite a range of the children's books that you have going on here. But we have to ask, what really drew you to writing specifically for children?
Well, I've been teaching first grade for 23 years. I taught kindergarten for 2 years and preschool for 8 years. So needless to say, I've been around children's and books for a really long time, and I love reading to kids, and it was always a dream of mine to write a children's book.
And that makes complete sense that you have that firsthand experience with the kids and you kind of know what they like or what they're interested in or what will kind of pique their interest when it comes to writing a story that has a meaning and a message to tell. But what is your process to writing a children's book? Because I'm sure there's a lot of storyboarding as well as illustrations and kind of where the plot will go. But where do you even start?
Well, I start with my idea, and honestly, I get ideas from the craziest places. And my faith is important to me, so sometimes I feel like God is my co-writer. But like for Juliet's Web, the idea came, I was walking, I like to take a lot of walks, and I saw this beautiful spider web, and it just kind of inspired that story, Juliet's Web. And then once you get the story down, you start writing it, and I just kind of jot down my ideas, my thoughts. And then I look at my thoughts and kind of base my story from there. Once you get your story going, it just kind of comes to you easily. The illustration part of the book is really a lot of fun because that's where your story comes to life. That's always really fun to see. I always recommend that you walk away from your story a little bit, because a lot of times when you walk away and you come back to it, you see it with fresh eyes.
But you also have a little bit of a series going on, Sophie's Sparrow.
I do.
Yes,
yeah,
so
Sweet Sophie Sparrow.
Yeah, so what is the story with Sophie, and what adventures does she go on in these books?
Well, in the first book, Sophie Sparrow wants to be a flamingo. That's just a really fun story. That was inspired. I was sleeping in bed one morning, woke up, you know how you hear the birds chirping and making all kinds of racket in the morning, and I said to my husband, I wonder what they're talking about, what are they chirping about? And that's kind of where the idea came from, and I thought if I were a sparrow, what kind of bird would I want to be, because sparrows aren't that exciting. And I thought, I think I would want to be a flamingo. So that's where that idea came from.
Yeah.
And then Sophie Sparrow and Friends to the Rescue. My husband and I were taking a walk, and I saw this really big tree had fallen down in this really bad storm. And I thought to myself, if that was her home, what would she do if she lost her nest? And that's where that idea came from. And I would describe this one as Habitat for Humanity bird style.
What has been the community response to these books, and even students or the kids that you get to read these to?
My kids, I've had great response. Parents, children, and teachers love my books. My personal students, they always kind of get a sneak peek a lot at illustrations, and they'll kind of give me their feedback. And they love the books. They're excited.
And your newest book, the one that just came out in December, is Goldie and the Three Kind Bears.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a message into this one.
There is. With this book, it's a spin-off of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. In Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the bears come home and find that Goldie's, slept in their bed, ate their porridge, and she's scared and she runs away. But in my story, they're kind to her and they feel sorry for her and they think, she must need a home. And so they kind of take her in, and to show her kindness to them, she then in returns bakes a gingerbread man.
And I'm so glad that you're constantly writing and telling these stories, and we can all read them. But I also heard too that you're continuing working, and you're working on another story right now too. You just keep on going.
My latest one I'm working on is Eloise Evergreen Isn't Keen on the Color Green. And that was inspired, I love fall, it's my favorite season. And that is about Eloise, and she's always just green. She's not keen on the color green. And all her friends, Marcy Maple, Bradley Birch, and Olivia Oak, get to turn colors in the fall, but she doesn't. And so there's a cute little owl in that story named Owen the Owl, and he kind of comes to the rescue. He's a problem solver.
Well, but where can people find your books so that way they can read these to maybe their classrooms or read them to their kids or their grandkids?
They are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I'm also available for author visits. I love to do school visits.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by and sharing these stories. I know we can't wait to dive right in. And definitely, if you want to find more information about Andrea, you can find that at the bottom of your screen. But keep up the amazing work because clearly you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you so much.